Speaking of America First policies, joining us now, early riser today is Kelly Sadler. She is Communications Director and Chief Spokesperson for America First Policies and America First Policies Action. Kelly, a former White House senior advisor to President Trump, and also now she is with America First Policies, the number one and only political action committee actually sanctioned and endorsed by President Trump. Kelly, great to have you with us.
Good morning.
Hey, thanks for being up early. I appreciate it. I know you're busy. You got to get the kids off to school. And
Anything for you, John. Anything for you.
I know. Thank you. That's so sweet of you. It's tough to get people on sometimes at 6:30 a.m. in the U.S. Now, I get some of them on when they're overseas and they're 6 or 7 hours ahead, right? That's a little bit easier. So, Kelly, look, got to talk about a couple things. Aurora, Colorado yesterday, Social Democrat protesters ripping down the U.S. flag, burning it. I mean, this is our flag, and putting up a Mexico flag, which is the irony of it isn't Mexico the country these migrants are trying to flee? I mean, for the life of me, what is going on here?
I mean, I have no idea. And, just this type of stuff is what's going to get the president reelected again, because these Democrats and these protesters have gone so far left and socialist, and they seem to have such contempt and hate for our country, which you stated, which is the economic growth and the prosperity that this president has brought during his term are the reasons why these migrants are fleeing their country and want to enter the United States, because they know they have job opportunity here. If Democrats come in control, they'll have free health care, all paid by us, the American taxpayer. And these are just the demonstrable acts that show us how much the Democrats really do hate our country. And the ironic part is our country is the best country in America. We're the most compassionate country in the world. And we're world leaders on the economic stage, on peace and prosperity. And so, of course, these people want to enter our country, but they need to do so legally. And these demonstrators are just, when I say that they're going to get the president reelected again, they are, because the average person has absolutely no tolerance for this sort of behavior.
The president's approval rating amongst Republicans, Kelly Sadler, is 89%. I mean, even Reagan was about 85 or 84. I mean, he never got to 90. Trump was approaching 90%. And but you still have a lot of Republicans who are just not comfortable with him. They don't like his tweets. Of course, I remember during the midterms, I was saying in my opening that the majority of those that got beat actually ran away from his tax cut, which is it's just unbelievable to me, because it sounds such an impact. Looking forward to 2020, the president, every poll he's down to just about every Democrat out there except an unknown socialist. How does he win again?
Well, he wins again based on based on his record. I mean, this is the only president in my time who has been chastised for delivering on the promises that he ran on the campaign trail. Like, I mean, look at what he's done for energy, and that we are now going to be the net exporter of natural gas in the world. He said he'd bring economic prosperity back. He did the tax cuts, and that, coupled with the deregulation that he's brought, is fueling this American economy, and it's fueling this American economy for people of all colors, of all races, for women, for African Americans, for Hispanics. When a lifting tide rises all boats. And so this is something that we're going to be heavily running on. But when he said he'd get us out of the Paris Climate Change Accord, he got us out of the Paris Climate Change Accord. He got us out of the Iran agreement. He's making waves on, the world stage in the first time a sitting president has ever been over into North Korea and has had negotiations with Kim Jong-un. Now, where they're going to lead, we do not know, but he's making progress in that area. You have to talk to our enemies in order to make progress. Look at what he's doing with China, putting the heavy foot down with China and calling them out for their unfair trade practices. Look what he did with Mexico. The Mexicans have done more for our immigration system than the Democrats and the Republicans, quite frankly, in Congress without being able to pass border reform. You have, we still had high border crossings last month, but they have gone down now that he put his foot down with Mexico. These are all, promises made, promises kept, and that is what, we are going to be reinforcing that message over and over and over again. And yes, there's some things that he's doing that people don't like, but you know what he is doing? He's delivering to his base, and he's delivering what he said on the campaign trail in 2015, 2016.
What do you think about the fact, Kelly Sadler, that we've got the mayor of Chicago, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, basically saying that she's not going to cooperate in any of these raids that ICE is doing in order to identify and deport illegal aliens that are here illegally, that have not gone to court, not done anything the government told them to do, ignored the paperwork they got, or those that are just here and didn't do anything, just crossed the border. When are we going to start holding these people accountable for that, do you think?
Well, I mean, these people are not patriots, and you see this with sanctuary cities, too, basically saying, illegals come into our city and we'll give you sanctuary and take care of you, and that's just fundamentally against what, our system is based on. This is open borders and chaos, and these raids they happened yesterday, and there's some conflicting news reports. They could be going on today, and we have to support ICE and, the men and women down in the Customs Border Control that are on the border in these really tough situations, who are not trained, quite frankly, to be, to be babysitters or to be nurses or to be doctors, and are going above and beyond their job and their call of duty to make sure that everyone is safe and everyone is well tended to. So I think we need to give praise to those people who are out on the front lines, our ICE, the people in ICE and the people in Customs Border Control, and praise them rather than try to demonize them as what the left is doing just for upholding our rule of law.
You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network, Trucking the Truth Across America. We're live in Atlanta today, and we're with Kelly Sadler. She's the Chief Communications Director and spokesperson for the President's #1 political action committee, the only one that he has sanctioned, that is America First Policies and America First Policies Action. Kelly, I'm going to get your reaction here to a clip we're going to play, cut one here, from Bernie Sanders, who said yesterday, "When the rich get poorer, I will stop talking about socialism." I think Bernie Sanders is going to be the nominee. I just want to get your take on this. He didn't say when the poor get richer. He said when the rich get poorer. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, and it's not from Saturday Night Live. This is real from Meet the Press yesterday, and he is going to be the Democratic nominee. I have no doubt in my mind. Cut one, Bernie Sanders.
Well, look, two things. People say, Bernie, you're repetitious. You are talking about the rich getting richer and 40 million people living in poverty. You are talking about so many old people who cannot afford their medicine and so forth and so on. You know what, Chuck? Here's a promise I will make to you. When the poor get richer and the rich get poorer, when all of our people have health care is the right, when we are leading the world in the fight against climate change, you know what? I will change what I am saying. So it's not me that's being repetitious. It is what is going on in society continues to favor the people who have the wealth and the power, while all over this country people are working 2 or 3 jobs. And I understand that I keep hammering away at that issue because I believe that in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, we don't need 45 million people struggling with student debt. Kids can't afford to go to college. Those are the issues I will continue to talk about, and those are the issues we'll win on.
Here's your Democratic nominee for 2020, and I predicted it months ago. Bernie Sanders is going to win this race. You just heard what he said there. Student debt too high. The rich have too much money. I don't know what that means. I guess don't be rich or don't work hard. For the life of me, I can't figure out where he's going with this other than turn us into Venezuela. What was your reaction to that, Kelly?
Well, I mean, does it apply to him? I mean, Bernie Sanders is a millionaire. He owns 3 homes. He donates a paltry, cents on the dollar to charity. If you look at his tax returns, so does this apply to Bernie? And if he believes so much in socialism, why isn't he giving more to charity to help to help the people that he's talking about. But look, let's just look. He said a bunch of untrue statements in his little soliloquy there. First and foremost, under this president, you have blue collar wages that are rising faster than their superiors. This president is doing more for economic inequality through capitalism means than Bernie Sanders will ever do with socialism. The second thing he said, and Kamala Harris has also said this on the campaign trail, that people are working 2 or 3 more jobs just to stay above float. This is untrue. The majority, I think it was like 0.003% of people are working 2 or 3 jobs just to stay afloat, and this rate has been consistent well over the last decade. So that's just simply not true. We're an economy where we have more jobs than we have people to fill them. And we had the last jobs report was a complete blowout in terms of numbers of people coming off the unemployment rolls, coming out that gave up looking for jobs, now coming back into the economy and getting employed. So I don't know where these Democrats are coming up with their talking points, because they're not based in reality. They're not based in fact. They're trying to create some sort of parallel universe that's telling you that you're not better off than you were 4 years ago, when in fact the numbers show that you are.
The economy notwithstanding, what the Democrats are saying now is that the president is trying to get reelected by motivating his base, which they're saying is basically white rural voters, that he's abandoning people of color in order to maximize the turnout from white rural voters, which, look, I'm in Virginia. I was part of the campaign in 2015-16. That couldn't have been farther from the truth. When is this lie going to just be exposed for what it is?
Well, I mean, you've got to look at the facts, and these Democrats with their narratives and their twisting of facts. So the president passed historic criminal justice reform. This is something that Barack Obama did not do. This has been decades in the making, where he passed the First Step Act, which basically is allowing, and if you look at the stories, and these are mostly viral stories that are on YouTube of people coming out of jail that were supposed to be serving these long prison sentences for minutia crimes, for having some marijuana in their pocket, or low level drug offenders are now getting readmitted into society and are so thankful and go on and are thankful for the president and give him the credit that he deserves for this. And now the president's working on the Second Step Act, which is basically increasing the number of Pell Grants and educational and apprenticeship opportunities in jail, so that when these offenders come back out into society, can be contributing members in their community. And these are things that the press doesn't want to report on, credit that they do not want to give him, because it is having actual impact in these people's lives. And they want to paint out, Democrats are all about identity politics, and they're going to try to paint the Trump supporter as the racist, homophobic, white, uneducated person because that fits well in their narrative, and it's simply not true. If you go to, and John, you've been to many of the president's rallies, you look around, there are people of all color from all different denominations, all there supporting this president because they love America, they love what he's doing, putting America first and fighting for them. And so it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle to 2016, and it's going to be a battle trying to dispel all of the untruths and the dramatics, quite frankly, that are coming from the other side. But we're ready to stand up and do it.
All right, Kelly Sadler, I like your enthusiasm. I really feel good about where we are right now in the campaign, and I know you're not coordinated, obviously, with Trump 2020 or anything like that. You're the number one outside group. But I really feel really good today. I've spent the last week traveling around, and the number of people that I've talked to that are independent-minded, that are voting for the president, that didn't vote for him last time, has been very encouraging to me. That's the benefit of getting out there, getting out of the studio like I do, and just going to different places. You go to diners and you do your show, whatever, you just talk to different people, you get a very different perspective. So I think we're in good shape. Thank you for being with us today. Kelly, I know you've got to get the kids off to school and do the mom thing, and thanks for getting up early with us,
Get
Kelly.
them off
Thank you so much.
Camp. It's summertime, but I've got to get them to these Taekwondo camps that they're going to be going to this week, and so I appreciate you being flexible with me and allowing me to be on this early morning.
All right, Kelly, we'll see you soon. Kelly Sadler, America First Policies and America First Policies Action.